that's an interesting question. We tried to bring back all the core things that people loved about Dishonored 1. The lush world, the great art direction, the multiple pathways through the world, the fact that you could kill or not kill at all, stealth, combat, all of that. But this time, Dishonored 2 has Emily Caldwin as a new character. The little girl from the first game has grown up, and you can play her as a player character. She has different assassination moves than Corvo, and she has all new supernatural powers. So her powers are different and can be combined in interesting different ways than even we expected. You know, they're always surprising us.
One thing that I wanted to ask you, have you ever thought that having a female heroine would be risky because we have a lot of male heroes in games, not so many women? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's an important thing that everybody has a representational character. I read about how important it is at different times to be able to, when you're a kid, to be able to look into the world and see somebody in a heroic figure that resembles you in some way. And too much of our media just is a very narrow range of society. And so by having Corvo, he is interesting because he's an older guy, which I like. But also having Emily is interesting because now we have a stealth action game, a supernatural assassin game in a steampunk city with a female protagonist. So to us, it's not risky, it's exciting.
It looks like a game with a lot of player expression. You want players to try and discover things. What can you say about that? How do you expect they will leave the game?
Yeah, to me, it's not really a game if it's just a string of breadcrumbs that you pick up along the way. That can be an interesting experience, an interesting interactive experience. But what we're really interested in is overloading you with options and letting you customize your way through the game. So, you know, whether you play Emily or whether you play Corvo, whether you play high chaos or low chaos, whether you use stealth or combat, whether you take this power or that power, whether you go over the rooftops or through the alleys, there's no playthrough. Every time you play the game, it's different. The way you resolve each mission now drives the ending a little bit. And so if you play and I play, you will end up with a very different outcome than I do. And it feels like yours and it feels like mine.
And about the ending, I was wondering, are we going to have multiple endings, I suppose? And do we have different endings for Corvo and Emily, or their stories are merged and it's just the same ending?
Well, we had multiple endings in the first game, but it was a simple number based on how many people you killed or not. This time we do something much more ambitious. First of all, everybody in the world is procedurally assigned a morality, either sympathetic, guilty, or murderous. And so they're worth different numbers of chaos points. It's worse to kill a sympathetic person than it is to kill a murderous person. Second, the decisions you make in the mission drive the outcome as well. So it's not just based on the number of people you kill, it's based on, like in the Dust District, whether you empower Paolo or Vice Overseer Byrne. Do you take one down or the other, or you take both of them down? That helps drive the endings. And then lastly, we have many more endings than we did last time. We have several pieces to the end game, and each one of those has multiple outcomes. And then all of those have a high and a low chaos version. And so the number of endings is significant, and it's less binary than it was before.
And what can you say about the abilities of Corvo and Emily? You say they are very different, but you don't want that someone chooses Corvo for playing action and Emily for playing stealth. So you can have any kind of approach with both characters.
Yeah, the powers from Corvo are all back. His gun, crossbow, the spring razor, all of that, and his supernatural powers. Devouring Swarm, Wind Blast, Possession, Bend Time, all of those things are back. However, in the last game, we just let you buy them and upgrade them. So you have Possession level 1, Possession level 2. This time you have Possession and then a tree under it for many different ways to upgrade it. You can take Possession and you can possess animals, or you can possess people. You can upgrade it a different way to possess corpses. So you can like hide from the guards by possessing a corpse. And if the corpse is face down, then you see the floor. You see through the eyes, but you can hear. If you possess a blood fly, you can fly. You can chain possession, so you can jump from a rat to a person to a blood fly. So even the powers from the last game are really extended now, much more than last time. Emily's powers are all new. She's Shadow Walk, Mesmerize, Doppelganger, Domino, which is really interesting. And you can combine those in ways we don't even expect. So it's very fresh to play the game with Emily's powers. But you asked, like, did we make one of them more stealth and one more combat, or one more lethal and one more not? We try not to do that. We try to give them universal application. So when you talk about bend time, some people say, oh, it's such a powerful assassination tool. Well, if you kill the people in the room when you stop time, yes, but you can also just slip past them and exit through the door, and when time resumes, they don't even know you were there. So it's also a very powerful stealth tool that can be used non-lethally. Emily's powers are mostly like that as well. They can either be used to trick enemies, or to sneak past enemies, or to kill enemies. It's driven by the player, yes.
About the blood flies, can we exterminate them like erasing all the nest, or are we always going to have to do with them in the whole game?
There are a number of spots along the way that are infested with blood flies, and if you kill more people, there are more infestations. So the more bodies you kill, the more blood flies there are. But if you wipe out the nests, the blood flies don't come back in this spot.
Are we going to have some DLC for Dishonored 2?
We're not talking about any future plans right now. All of our effort is going into Dishonored 2.
What do you expect from the players of Dishonored 1? They are going to play in family?
Yeah, I mean, one of our most high expectations is that we hope players who love the first game love the second game. As to how many people play Corvo and how many people play Emily, that's a good question. I think I wonder all the time, you know, will fans of the original game who played it a lot, will they play Emily because they want something fresh? Or will they come in and they play Corvo because they want something familiar? Or will people play based on gender? Women will play Emily, men will play Corvo. I don't know. Will people look at the powers and say, oh, these game mechanics sound better to me than these game mechanics? Honestly, I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.